Hi, my name is Ashwini Kumar. In this video, we are going to see the UGSNet June 2019 previous year questions on the subject or the unit that is communication systems. So here the first question we are going to see, that is it is assertion and the reason type of question. So the assertion is, in satellite communication, uplink and downlink frequencies are kept different. So uplink frequencies means, actually while coming to the satellite communication, you will be having one earth station which is called as a base station, and one satellite in the space in the geostationary orbit. So from the base station to satellite, some kind of signals will be transmitted with the help of uplink frequency, and again from the satellite to earth base station, the signal will be transmitted with the help of downlink frequency. So in the assumption, they kept that both these two frequencies, uplink and downlink frequencies, are different. That we will see. And the reason is the uplink frequency is chosen lower than the downlink frequency. So as per the block diagram of this one, see, it is a block diagram, or else not a block diagram. So it's just a simple diagram which represents the uplink and downlink frequencies with respect to the satellite communication. So it is a orbiting ground station and it is a destination ground station. So from here, the signal is transmitted to the antenna. Okay, and this signal transmits to the satellite with frequency that is called as a uplink frequency. And after receiving to the satellite, again the satellite transmits or else sends one signal to the destination ground station, and this signal frequency is called as a downlink. Downlink frequency. So always the uplink frequency must be greater than the downlink frequency. Why? Because uplink frequency is nothing but it has to transmit in the upward direction. Okay, in the upward direction, and it has to penetrate through certain kind of spheres, and then it enters to the geostationary orbit. So for that one, that means to transmit a signal from Earth station to the satellite by penetrating through the different types of spheres or the orbits. So that's why uplink frequency must be greater than the downlink frequency. So with this concept here, the reason, what the reason mentioned here, the uplink frequencies are lower than, which is the wrong concept. Uplink frequency must be greater than the downlink frequency. So as per this one, the reason is the false and assertion is the true. But because in the satellite communication, uplink and downlink frequencies, both these two are different, not the same, and uplink frequency is greater than the downlink frequency. So option 3, the third option, is the correct one as per this explanation. And now I'll come into the second question. Here the question is, what is the speed of the satellite moving in an elliptical orbit at perigee and apogee? That means here the satellites are rotating in the elliptical orbit, so it is elliptical orbit, and if it is the earth, then if I'm taking the major axis of the ellipse, because the horizontal one represents the major axis of the ellipse, and the vertical one represents the minor axis of the ellipse. So now if the satellite is at this position and if the satellite is at this position, that means at a time the satellite won't be exist at both the two positions. Why? Because in this orbit only one satellite is there. I'm just saying that if the satellite is locating at this position, then it is far away as per the major axis of the ellipse with respect to the earth. And if the satellite is locating at this point, then it is nearest to the earth as per the major axis. So now this perigee and apogee can be given as, so here it is called as a apogee, that means the longest distance, and here this position is called as a perigee. Okay, so perigee and apogee. And whenever the satellite is at the position that is apogee, then it is having the lowest speed. Okay, and whenever the satellite is at the position that is perigee, then it is having the fastest speed. Okay, so that means here the speed of the satellite, okay, what is the speed of the satellite moving in an elliptical orbit at perigee and apogee? Means at perigee it is having the highest, okay, highest at the perigee and the lowest at the apogee. That means whenever the distance is too far, that means whenever the distance is high, the speed will be low, and whenever the distance is less, the speed is high. Okay, as per the major axis only. Okay, so it is the concept regarding this apogee and perigi, and the corresponding satellite speed at both these two positions in the elliptical orbit. So here the correct option to this second question is the second option as per this explanation. And now while coming to the third question, which type of optical fiber is used to eliminate modal dispersion during optical communication? So modal dispersion means generally we'll be having the two types of modal dispersions. One is inter and second one is the intramodal dispersions. So generally the modal dispersion means, so if you're taking the fiber, so inside the optical fiber the light ray will split up into the different modes, and they will transmit into the different propagation speeds. That means they will travel with the different speeds. So while coming to the receiving end, the blue one, whatever the blue one is there, this blue one may reach earlier, and this pink one may reach somewhat delay. So due to this one, the dispersion may takes place. So generally to eliminate such type of dispersions, and naturally we should not take the multi-mode index fibers. So we have to prefer the step mode single mode step index fibers. Okay, so generally single mode step index fibers will eliminate this such type of modal dispersions. Okay, so why? Because while coming to the multi-mode step index or multi-mode grade index fibers, there is a chance of happening the modal dispersions. So to avoid such type of things, naturally it's better to take the single mode step index fibers. So here in this diagram, the different types of light ray propagating inside the index, inside the fibers, you can observe here. So while coming to the multi-mode step index fiber, so here the light is traveling in the different modes. So that means the dispersion is happening here. And here also in the multi-mode grade index fiber also, the light ray is traveling in the different modes. But while coming to the single mode step index fiber, the light ray is traveling in only single mode. So there is no chance of happening the dispersions in the single mode step index fibers. So as per this explanation, the first answer is the correct one to avoid or to eliminate the modal dispersions during optical communications naturally. And now while coming to the fourth question, if the desired transmitting bitrate for a coherent binary FSK system, that means frequency shift keying system, that is binary means BFSK, is 4 kilobits per second. That means the bit rate is given. So bit rate can be represented as capital suffix small b. So 4 kilobits per second. The best possible interval between the carriers. So best possible interval between the carriers means generally we can represent that is the bit duration. So the bit duration, that is TB, is inversely proportional to the RB, that is a bit rate. So as per this formula, that means the possible interval between the carriers, that is TB, is equal to 1 divided by RB means bit rate. So 4 kilo, that becomes is equal to 0.25 milliseconds, right? So as per this one, the correct option is a 0.25 milliseconds. So it is the correct one for the binary frequency shift key with. And now while coming to the fifth question, so what is the relation between the bandwidth of binary phase shift keying signal and bandwidth of M array phase shift keying signal for a given data rate? So generally while coming to the M array PSK bandwidth and binary phase shift keying bandwidth. So first I will give you the binary phase shift keying bandwidth. So it can be given as 2 into RB, that means twice the bit rate. It is called as a bandwidth of the binary phase shift keying. It can also be written as 2 divided by TB. Why? Because the bit rate is equal to 1 divided by bit duration, right? So it is a bandwidth formula to the binary phase shift keying. And while coming to the M array phase shift keying bandwidth is 2RB divided by M. Okay, so let's take it is B bandwidth suffix M. Okay, that means bandwidth of the M array phase shift keying is 2RB divided by M, and bandwidth of the binary phase shift keying is 2 into RB or else 2 divided by TB. And with the help of both these two formulas, now bandwidth of M array phase shift keying is equal to, here 2RB is there. 2RB is nothing but a bandwidth of binary phase shift keying divided by M. So that implies bandwidth of binary phase shift keying is equal to M into bandwidth of M array phase shift keying. That means BW is equal to M into, so bandwidth is equal to M into mean bandwidth of the binary phase shift keying is equal to M into bandwidth of the M array phase shift keying. So that means the fourth option is the correct one. That means if you are increasing the M, okay, that means if you are increasing the M, the bandwidth will be reduces. So that we can understand from this expression. So to solve this problem, you must have the idea of both these two formulas, that is bandwidth of the M array phase shift key and bandwidth of the binary phase shift key. And now while coming to the sixth question, which of the following are advantages of the laser over LED? So laser is nothing but a light amplification stimulation emission of radiation, and LED is nothing but a light emitting diode which supports the spontaneous emission of radiation, and it supports the stimulation emission of radiation. And the LED is a incoherent and a laser is a coherent, so that we can observe in the lecture. And here the laser supports the higher bandwidth and the higher data rate, because comparing with the LED, the laser data rate is very high and it transmits, or else the laser light flows with a very high speed, so that's why the data rate is also high. So it is one of the advantage. And the power will be the higher at the output side, that means output power will be higher. And coming to the longer lifetime, so the laser doesn't support the longer lifetime. Why? Because if you are using the optical source as a laser, the optical fibers will not support for a longer lifetime. They will easily tear out, or else due to the total internal reflection of this laser light in the optical fiber cables, there is a chance of destroying these cables very early. So that means longer lifetime is applicable to the LEDs only. So that means for laser it is very short lifetime, so it is not the thing. And while coming to the cheap one is also, LED is very cheap comparing with the laser. So the advantage of laser is only higher bandwidth and higher data rate and higher output power, and we have to compromise with the shorter lifetime and high cost. Okay, that means A and B are only the advantages of the laser over LED. So here the correct option is the second one. And now while coming to the seventh question, following are a few statements regarding noise in communication system. So while coming to the communication system, we will be having the two different types of noises. One is the internal noise and second one is the external noise. So these are the different types of noises, internal and external noise in communication systems. Here external is nothing but a man-made noise and natural resources. And internal noises are due to the random movement of electrons in the electronic circuit. So generally electronic components in a receiver such as resistor, diodes and transistors are major source of the internal noises. So that means thermal agitation noise and short noise and transistor noise, all these types of noise comes under the internal noises. Okay, and industrial noise and atmospheric noises comes under the external noise. So coming to this one here, the first option is A. Atmospheric noise, short noise, solar noise are example of the external noise sources. Here atmospheric noise is fine and the solar noise is also fine, but while coming to the short noise is not the external noise, it is an internal noise. See here, you can observe here that short noise is one of the type of the internal noise. Okay, but while coming to the solar noise and atmospheric noise, both these two are the external noises. So definitely option A is the wrong one. So here what are the option A's are there? So second option is having the A and fourth option is also having the A. So that means second and fourth option you can remove and you have to focus on 1 and 3. And now coming to the B, we will see later. The thermal agitation is the only source of the noise in the receiver. See, in the receiver, all these three are the different types of noises. Okay, not only thermal noise, short noise and transit time noise also. So definitely C is also wrong one. So finally, the first option is the correct one for this question.